Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. This week, we're going to be talking about rest. Rest is critical. Before we get into all that, I want to welcome you to the youareenough.life channel. And I really hope that you subscribe, like, comment, or join when I get the join button up and running. This is a very simple fledgling effort, and the wind is blowing. Hopefully, you don't hear too much wind. I'm desperate to help people find wisdom and contentment. This is just kind of how I feel as a over 50 Gen Xer that wants to help others. As I've raised my boys, I've asked them to consider three big things in their life: help, teach, and protect. And that's what I want to do. I want to help others. I want to teach what I know that they may not know. And I want to somehow, in some way, protect or offer content that helps people avoid a whole lot of pain and heartache. That's what wisdom does. And so in my first series, Do It Now, the whole idea was wisdom says get after the things that are on your heart, and not in a rushing, foolish way, but in a more motivated, grounded way. In that previous series, we talked about 4 different things that sustain your motivation to get off the dime and do things now. Now, as you can see over here, we're at Big Dry Creek East Trailhead. So this is the very beginning of the trail. And what I like doing is riding my bike, sharing some things with you, and then hopefully you enjoy the views and you enjoy the wisdom. So I'll take this ride, and if it goes the way I think it's going to go, I'll chop it up into some daily offerings and then release those daily offerings throughout the week. It is February, and the blessing and the curse, I think, of global warming is that it is over 63 degrees right now, and a beautiful day when it probably should be snowing. We're going to make the best of it, and we're going to, I don't know, hope for better and try to make some better earth-friendly choices. That's a rabbit hole I'm not going to go down today. I do thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in to the youareenough.life YouTube channel. Maybe you're listening to this on a podcast. Maybe you're on the Spotify podcast. This episode will be released as a podcast in both YouTube, Apple Podcast, and other podcast platforms. So I just want to encourage you, if you live in Colorado, in the Denver metro, please get on your bike and check out some of these trails. As you can see over here, we have a map. We have a great system in the south suburban area of trails. They're all over the Denver area. So I hope you get on your bike or your scooter or whatever you use, even just walking 15, 20 minutes a day after we eat dinner can really help our bodies. I was talking about that with my wife today. So thank you for joining me. We're going to get on the trail, and then we'll talk a little more about rest as we go. I'm thinking we'll talk about daily rest, weekly rest, and then more periodic rest, like monthly and throughout the year. What does that look like? So before I show the next video and record it, please pause the video. Please take a little rest right now. Don't go to the next video on the algorithm. Please pause, set down your phone, turn the screen over so it's facing down, and at least take 2 or 3 very slow, mindful breaths where you count a 4 count, bringing the air in, 4 count of holding the breath, 4 count of exhale, and 4 count of leaving the air out. I love the silence and the simplicity of that practice. Just 4 square breathing. 4 seconds in, hold it 4 seconds, 4 seconds out, and then hold the exhale for 4 seconds over and over. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. We're going to get on the trail. Okay, everybody, we're going to see how this looks, how this sounds. Part one of rest. If you're going to rest, you need to have a daily plan for rest. And my best suggestion is rest starts as soon as you get up. And before we get too far in, take a look at the beauty. There are geese resting right behind me on that shore. Here they are coming in for a landing. It's all over nature. Rest is daily, maybe multiple times a day. And when I think most of us think of rest, we think of nap. I'm not talking about a nap. Although I never met a nap that I didn't like. What I am talking about is a daily moment to be still. And we'll probably do another series on stillness. And rest is an aspect of stillness. And stillness is an aspect of rest. Every day should start with a quiet moment. A moment where we deliberately stop working. So there are a couple of things that come to mind for me. One is I rest every time I fill up the carafe to make coffee. I put 55 to 60 ounces of water in the carafe, and I'm at my fridge, and the water is coming out of the fridge, and I close my eyes, and I practice that 4-square breathing. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just simply close my eyes and breathe standing there. And the game that I play with myself is I try to open my eyes as soon as the carafe is full. And I never get it right. And I am afraid that it's going to overflow. Make resting kind of a game and be playful with yourself. Right now the wind's blowing. I hope that's not coming through too loud. Play the game. Be playful with rest. This should not be an obligation and a guilt and shame situation. This should really be something you look forward to. So I have my carafe of water at the fridge. That's a big gust. Then I also have, first thing in the morning, before I even let the dog out of her sleeping area, I've turned over a new leaf. And I try to make my coffee and get myself settled, because my dog's going to need to eat, my dog's going to need to go outside, but she has a little sleeping area. So I try to rest first, just for 5 or 10 minutes. Sometimes she hears me awake and I don't get to do it. But I try to rest first, and then I get into, I got thrown off by the people. I try to rest first, then I get into the obligation of feeding my dog. But then, the next thing I do in that, well, before I let the dog eat, I try to sit with my own thoughts. And for me, because I'm a Christian, I spend time, and this is new for me, I'm trying to spend at least 7 to 10 minutes every morning just asking the Holy Spirit, what have you got for me today? And I try to rest and just be in the fact that I don't know. I'm not super spiritually dialed in, but I want to be. And so I guess you could argue it as a little bit of work to stop doing everything else and rest. Call it what you will. Call it silence, call it rest. But I encourage you in your morning routine, have a moment where there is zero obligation. No journal writing, nothing but being alive and drinking whatever you drink in the morning, or tasting whatever you eat in the morning. That's rest. When you take a moment before each meal to say a prayer of gratitude, that's rest. It's also in the category of worship and gratitude. But these moments where we pause are incredibly important. So we have the carafe. We have the few minutes of silence before you get into even feeding your dog. And then you rest when you use the restroom. And I'm going to say it. Why are we bringing our phones in the restroom? What the heck? That's ridiculous. Am I guilty of it? Yes, but I feel foolish every time I do it. I'm like, this should just be a moment to be present to my body. And what am I doing? I'm scrolling, I'm playing a game. That is not wisdom. That is not contentment with, right now I need to be with my body and what my body needs to do. So I encourage you, no bathroom phone use. I encourage you a few minutes every morning with just yourself. This is courage. If those thoughts that come out in 5, 7, 10 minutes in the morning, if those are anxious, difficult thoughts, you're showing courage every day you sit with those for any number of deliberate seconds or minutes, whatever your stamina allows. It's your business. You don't answer to anybody for your rest. However, here's the thing. If you don't rest, everybody around you is going to pay the price. In my last series, Do It Now, I was commenting on violence. People have lost their lives famously in the past 6 years, since the pandemic, during the pandemic, up to now, because the people around them were not well rested. They were not balanced, they were not present, they were not content. Then they go out to their job, be it a teaching job, a law enforcement job, a political job, a managing job, and then they work out their stuff on other people, unrested, discontent. That is not wisdom. That's really inconsiderate. So the implications and the impact of being rested or not are huge. We're either bringing blessing or curse to whomever we relate when we are rested or not rested. So I really want to drive this home. Every day you're building it, brick by brick, whether it's the size of a Lego or the size of a cinder block. Every day we're investing in rest. So there's a catchy title, Invest in Rest. Please take a moment to subscribe and like the video and comment, because all of that helps people hear and think and consider and pray and spend time with these concepts that we know are important. We know it's important to rest. Okay. We have different moments. When those moments present themselves, please use them. Here's another moment you can use every single day, multiple times a day. If you drive a car, every time you put the car in park, rest 30 seconds to a minute. Try it. You might like it. Just 3 or 4 very slow, deep breaths. If every breath cycle is 15 seconds, we're talking 3 to 4 breaths every time you put your car in park. And I'm making this motion, but it's probably this motion in the car. I got that one from John Eldridge. And he has an app called the Pause app, which kind of gamifies and rewards. You get badges for pausing and praying. It's important to rest when we're in the driveway or in the car getting ready to go see our family. Here's the next thing that we can do to rest. Every evening, we can light a candle and rest. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. We can consider the day. I think it's important to consider rest. So we have making your coffee, taking care of your dog, a moment of prayer or silence in the morning. We have, what else? Driving, putting the car in park. We have right before bed, we can rest before we go to bed. We can actually take a half an hour to 60 minutes to set our phone aside in another room, and we can kind of like detox and pull out of the craziness of the day and rest. So for now, that's enough talking about daily rest. I think I might have one more episode for us to talk about what we can do on the daily to rest. There's this doing nothing, and then there's doing nothing of value, which is play. So maybe we'll talk about play at the next stop. Everybody, Okay, so I got the camera turned around. I'm outside of the library, Corky Gonzalez branch. I'm here at Colfax and Irving in Denver. And I did a little research on rest while my phone was charging because I forgot my charging brick. So this is a stripped down, no frills podcast. Thank you for joining me. There are two Hebrew words for rest, and I wanted to share those with you. One is Shabbat, which means to just simply stop, cease working. The other word is nuach. Nuakh would be the English transliteration. That is a word for settling in and coming to a place of peace. So as I get ready to take my next ride and probably return back home on the South Platte, I'm about a half a mile from the path, and I realized I need to charge up, so I came here for an hour. I hung out, got on a free computer, and enjoyed my tax dollars at work. I did the research and found out about these two words for rest. I also want you to think about how hard rest is to enter, because where Israelites in the book of Genesis and Exodus were coming out of a time of slavery, the parallel is that we're enslaved at times by our phones, we're enslaved by our notifications, we're enslaved by our appetite for more. There's a lot that enslaves us. So thanks for bearing with the background noise. We'll see how it sounds. I'm going to pick up my bike. It turns out the library had a bike lock, and I did not have a bike lock. So what they did is they let me lock up my bike with their lock. Then I go talk to them, and they give me the key to unlock it. So I think that's pretty cool. So support your local library. Go visit and find out what services they offer. Now, thank you for tuning in to YouAreEnough.life, whether you're on the podcast or the YouTube channel, or you're just maybe on Spotify. Spotify has video podcasts, so please check out links, subscribe, comment, like. All of those things help more people find the podcast. And ultimately, it helps more people come to a place where they enjoy wisdom and contentment more. This makes the world a better place. So I really do hope you continue to join me and maybe share this video with a friend who needs to rest. I hope you find it interesting. Thank you for tuning in. I swear I'm going to find that app and I'm going to turn off this video. Hey everybody, I'm enjoying a granola bar and I'm enjoying that view. The blue and the white, the mountains, the sun is setting. I don't know exactly how late it is. I think it's about 3 something. Let's see if I can set this up. We're going to talk a little bit. So, I'm going to try to block the view of this trash can and check in with you. There are a lot of things we can do each day to rest. I hope you do that. I hope you pause this video, think about your daily routines, and then come back to think more about weekly routines. Sound good? Thank you for joining me and looking around at this beauty. I appreciate it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share the big 4 online. If you enjoy this content, there's a very good chance someone else will, and I hope that you share it. I hope that you comment on it, and I hope that you're specific in your comments about what you enjoy, what you need more of, what I might research, and I'll do my best to bring some compelling and helpful and wise content that'll be hopefully just enough. Thanks for tuning in to the YouAreEnough.life podcast.